Hello, my name is Rob Wagner. I'm the scene studio supervisor for the theater department at UW-Madison. I've been here, this is my 9th year teaching. That was following a 25-year professional career in Madison, Texas, and parts of Illinois. I'm a theater lifer. I discovered technical theater in junior high and got an associate's in technical theater, and then I graduated from Northern Illinois and with a BFA in scenic design. And I went to UT Austin for technical direction and graduated with an MFA in technical direction, came to Milwaukee to do museum exhibits and industrial trade shows, which taught me how to be a hotshot carpenter. I went from building museum exhibits to being the props carpenter at the Milwaukee Rep. I was the props carpenter at the Rep for 4 years. I learned a tremendous amount about how to build and fix props. I moved on to Skylight Opera, and Skylight Opera was the best 10 years of my professional career. Operated as their technical director, and we averaged 10 shows a year for 10 years, which teaches you how to be fast. It teaches you how to make things move. I flew performers. I did pneumatics. I did hydraulics. We did turntables. I learned a tremendous amount about how to do professional theater at a regional and national level. Several of our sets were good enough that we sold them to other theaters and shipped them across the country. It was amazing. After 10 years there, I felt like I was no longer learning with both hands. I wasn't learning all the time, and I found out there was an opportunity to be the head of the scene shop. They call it the scene studio here, but that I could come to Madison, and finally I felt like I had something to teach. And about 80% of what I teach, I learned in those last 10 years doing professional theater 40, 60, 90 hours a week, depending on where we were in the schedule. Long story short, I've done everything professionally except costumes and makeup. I still enjoy coming to work every day. I love doing theater. I love showing other people stuff I know and how cool it is. And I learned the most from the mentors I had that did it professionally. So I became one, and now I am one, and that's why I teach. It's a blast. We're in the prop shop. Normally, prop shops are often set apart from the main carpentry shop, in part because oftentimes they need to work clean when the rest of the shop is working dirty or they're working on different things. We have a very well-equipped space. The space is not strictly modern, but it has everything to do what we need to do, which is to replicate a slice of reality. Oftentimes a show will be a limited piece of a real world, and we need all the tools and all of the understanding and know-how to replicate that little piece of the real world on stage. The prop shop has got a host. We just finished reorganizing this part. My prop master, Lydia Bergruen, is a graduate of the program. She has been with me we've been working together for 5 years, and she's surpassed my expertise in props in several areas, including molding and casting. So if you're interested in doing molding and casting, talk to Lydia. We also have a significant medieval armory, for those of you that are into medieval violence. This was a recent donation. The edge is actually sharper than it should be for stage use, and we will be addressing that. But we have a significant, both medieval and slightly more modern firearms armory that we are in the process of storing differently. It was stored in a room in the basement. We need that room for something else, and we're in transition. What we're going to do is we're going to walk out of the prop shop through the tool room. We'll be back out in the shop proper. We'll take a look at what's going on out there. We are currently working on our next production, which is called Sonnets for an Old Century. It's a conceptual piece where we're doing 240 gallons of water in a reflecting pool downstage. And what it will be reflecting is a massive starscape, painted starscape upstage, which is going to be composed of 6 16-foot tall by 12-foot wide flats. And we'll see what those frames are when we get out there, because that's the project that's in the shop right now. So we'll go this way. This is our tool room. It's well stocked. It's somewhat disorganized right now. And This is the shop proper. We have 4 tables laid out. This is the frame for one of the 16-foot flats. We'll see some completed frames. We are working old school. These are soft-covered Broadway-style flats. The Broadway-style flat actually dates back into the 17th and 18th centuries. They were real popular in the 19th century, all the way up to the middle of the 20th century. We still use them for some things, particularly when we have to work large. And when we're working 12 feet by 16 feet, fabric is cheaper. We're going to come past this group.
So by the time you're done, you should have 11 staples.
We're a little clogged up because we had to make room in the main shop, but we also do motion control. This is actually a winch that was used for our turntable for Little Shop of Horrors. We work in metals, we work in plastics, we work in foam. This was actually a project that we sent home to students that were in quarantine. When everybody went quarantine, we sent home a frame that they could glue together and then stencil the front. Because I have a strong scene design background, I'm also a painter. Many technical directors are not painters. I count it as one of my favorite things to do. I teach a painting course Monday nights in the fall, which is a blast. But you can see on the wall here, these are the completed frames. We need to make 6 frames. This is 3. We did those yesterday. We're going to do 3 more today. And this is a test to see how well they cover. This is an older frame that we pulled out of stock. We stripped the old cover off of it. We're going to cover it with muslin, and this will be our test for the paint techniques for the Starscape. We also have a spray booth, so if we deal with anything that has hazardous fumes or spray paint, we have the luxury of a spray booth in-house. And then we have the paint area back here, which is well stocked. And yesterday, from Neil Mills, our scenic designer, we got, this is the Starscape. This is one set of 3 flats, and then the other set of 3 flats. So keep in mind, these are almost 12 feet by 16 feet, and we will be putting these up on the paint frame out there over the next couple of weeks and painting them. We have actually a really well-equipped paint area compared to a lot of theaters. Many theaters I've been in, they have a sink and a couple of shelves. This is a full mixing area. I have a really good relationship with a couple of local vendors. We buy our paint locally. It's a well-equipped shop. It's one of the reasons that I was very happy to take this job. Is it is not the most modern shop, granted, but it has all the tools. All the tools are well maintained, and we have a lot of space. It's actually kind of nice. Heading back out this way, I forgot to describe what the frames are actually on. This is a paint frame. It's actually a 19th century painting technique. I'll give you a quick demo. But the entire frame moves. So we have the luxury of putting these large frames on this paint frame, and we can run it down, paint the top, run it up, keep painting, run it up, keep painting, and we don't have to work on ladders if we can use the paint frame. And it's actually ideal for doing the kind of Starscape that we're going to be dealing with. Neil Mills is a relatively new member of our faculty. He's very talented, and he's had a lot of experience painting large things like this. Every professional member of my shop, I have 3 professionals in my shop. I have a props master, Lydia. I have a scenic charge, the head of my paint shop, Grace, and I have a master carpenter, Angie, who is showing the people back there the tools. All of them have come from this program, and I had the luxury at the time of positions open, and they were able to enter professional positions in this shop and essentially work for me for another 1.5 years before they go on to whatever professional career they want to after that. You can see we sort of cleared space in here to work this large, but each one of these tables is actually secured to the floor to give us a phantom huge table that we can work on and square this up. One of the most important things about working on a frame this large is if we're going to stretch fabric over it, it needs to be square, because if it isn't, when the fabric starts to stretch, it will pucker, and that can cause real problems with the paintwork later. Our shop continues actually off to this side. We are bounded in the building by two other groups. At the far end of the corridor is Communications Arts. They work in film and video, and they have their own prop section back there. We work with them occasionally. The real advantage we have is we teach how to build, we teach how to construct things, and their curriculum doesn't support that in the same way as it used to. So oftentimes I will have comm arts students come over and learn how to build and paint, and then go back and do that for their films and their movies. The other group that we have is right here. This is the Madison studios for Madison Public Television, which is a subsidiary of Wisconsin Public Television. But on the other side of those doors is one of the largest indoor sound stages in the Midwest. And we have a really good working relationship with their group. I'm actually particularly fond of this table saw. It's leading edge technology. It's a SawStop saw, and if you get interested, search SawStop on YouTube. There's all kinds of videos. It's essentially a very, very safe blade saw, such that if it detects human skin in contact with the blade, the whole tool shuts down. It's actually really cool. By way of a thanks for watching. This is an example of student work from the paint class. We teach basic techniques. I teach marble, I teach brick, and I've had a lot of people come into that class and say, oh, I'll never know how to paint. By the end of the semester, they're mixing paint with the best of them. So it's one of the things that I see as something that I personally can bring to somebody's education is my experience with paint and with techniques and things like that. But I just wanted to show off some student work because, in my opinion, that's what this program is about. We're student-centered. We're into trying to provide the best student experience, and the program is small enough that you really do get a lot of personal attention from trained professionals, and that's really what the staff has to offer. Thanks for tuning in.